expecting most of you, seeing how we're at a gaming event. Okay, now who here likes Minecraft? Oh, we still got a few. Awesome. And who here has ever thought about making a game? A few less of you, but I'm hoping to convince a few more of you. So, like that, awesome. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to you a little bit about making games in Minecraft. So today I have with me some guests, and we have people who do mod development, and then we have some people who do plugin development as well. So, for those of you who don't know what mod development is, it's whenever you download a program to put onto your Minecraft, and then it allows you to do weird and wonderful things like have new mobs, new vehicles, that sort of thing. So we're going to start at my left and work to the right and introduce everyone.
Hello, I'm going to stay seated because I want to stay seated. My name is Ellis Ladd, or Ladd, any of them work. I'm a mod developer, but I also do server things and everything in between. And yeah, I've been developing since I was about 8 years old, and I started on my own, learned to do it on my own, and been up to 9. I'm 18 now, so it's been 10 years, and it's been great. I've just learned all kinds of things, and hopefully I'm going to share some of that with you a little bit later on.
Hi, my name is Flan, or James, and I've made Flan's mod, which adds vehicles, planes, guns, and multiplayer combat to Minecraft. I've also worked on the Ether and a couple of other little mods for various YouTubers.
Yeah, so now I'll introduce myself. So my name is Struan, aka Strubo, and I've been in the Minecraft community for a little while. So I kind of started off with an idea to make a game mode for Minecraft. So the idea was I wanted to make something a little bit like Hunger Games, and Hunger Games was super popular a little while back. So I thought I was going to make something a little bit similar. So I followed some YouTube tutorials, started getting into it, and now I'm still doing a fair bit of Minecraft coding, but I also do a lot of web development. Okay?
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm known as Chimpy now, and I have worked on projects like survival games. Remakes of Gary's mod is something that I've done in Minecraft quite a lot, and recently I have started a new project which is taking survival games to a whole new level, which I will talk about later.
Hello, I am Baxi White, or Jack. I'm the lead developer of the Nox crew, so I manage all the development in there, and I also work on everything to do with the game show in the Nox crew.
Thank you very much. So what we're going to start off with is I'm going to go around the people here and see exactly how they started off coding. Okay? So I'm going to start with James. So James, how did you start coding?
So I've been coding quite a while. I started about 5 or 6 years ago with Call of Duty and making maps for that. As I did more and more maps, I made them more and more complicated. I made things that started moving around and buttons you could press to do things. So it got more and more complicated, and I started writing scripts to say what the things in the level do. And then about 4 years ago I started playing Minecraft. I started playing with mods, and then I decided I wanted to make my own. So I started learning Java and made my own planes mod.
Well, I started, as I said, when I was 8, and I started with 2 of my friends, and we were developing games in a program called Game Maker, which is really simple, just drag and drop, and it all just makes a game in the end that you can just give to a friend and they can play. And shortly after that I moved on to other things, onto different languages and different tools, and found myself eventually coding things for a Minecraft server. And I found it really useful and a really easy way to get started, because you just start coding and it just starts working. Which is really good if you want to start off, because you can just start going straight away and have something that you can actually show people straight away, which is what normally takes a very, very long time. And, well, that's basically how I started going into coding.
So I started when I was about 11. One day I actually got quite bored and decided that I would search up YouTube on how to start coding, and from that it sort of became a hobby that I couldn't really get out of. I started playing Minecraft quite a lot, and I was part of a server that was quite big at survival games at the time, and I thought that I would try and recreate that on my own. And I actually managed to do it, which was quite a surprise to me, because that was my first ever plugin, but at the same time it was a huge accomplishment, and yeah, I started really by accident, in all fairness. But yeah.
So I started when I was around 11 in school, and there was a sixth former in my school who basically started running a programming club in which he was teaching Visual Basic. So I started off with that, and at the time I wasn't too interested, but then as he started teaching more advanced things, I got really into it. That's where I started languages of Visual Basic. So I started with C#, which is another language. And then, at the time I'd been playing Minecraft a fair bit with friends, and like installing a few mods and seeing how that goes. And then I realised you can do development with plugins, which is all like server type thing, so you don't need to install anything on your client. And that's when I started really developing in Java, which is the language that Minecraft is coded in. Since then I started working on a few different servers that, well, a few were quite popular really. And then I sort of had a transition period where I learned a bit, and then I joined the Nox crew. And I've been working on a lot of things, and a lot of behind the scenes things, which a lot of people don't really know that happens.
So with Minecraft development, there's two main areas you can go into. So there is the mods, which I've talked about, and the plugins. So who here has ever been on a minigame server? Raise your hands. They're pretty awesome, aren't they? And do any of you ever want to do anything like that yourselves? Come on. Awesome. Well, we're going to talk to you about how you can start doing that. So I'm going to ask people. There are two main technologies you can use when creating Minecraft games. You can either you can have it multiplayer, which is kind of, we look at things called buckets, and then we also have Forge, which is great for making mods. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to ask our developers what's the difference between buckets and forges.
So I'm a mod developer and I work with Forge. Forge is both server and client side. So the server is the remote computer that connects everyone together, and the client is your computer at home where you play. So when you're writing stuff for Forge, you write it for the server, and then you write some client stuff as well. So with Forge you can have new things appearing in the game on the client end. So interesting things can happen with your copy of Minecraft rather than just sort of the way the existing game stuff interacts changing, which is what Bucket would do.
Okay. Well, I also use Forge, and I use another tool called MCP, which is the Minecraft Coder Pack, and that is again both client and server. The main difference between using a tool like MCP or Forge and using what the other side of the sofa uses, which is Spigot or Bucket, is that when you code something and when you develop, it then has to download it. So you'd have to post it onto a forum and have that then download it. If you're just writing something in Bucket or Spigot, you can put it straight onto a server and have it running. There are of course limitations to that. If you're writing something for a client, then obviously you can do things. You can put things on the screen, you can have people flying around, you can put in random giant squid, you can put in whatever you like, and just have it in the game. Whereas when you're working on a server, you don't have quite that flexibility, but then again, people don't have to download. So you've got to think about it before you start, but it's something definitely to Google and just know what you're doing.
Okay, and now I think what everyone really wants to hear about is how we actually start coding. Right, so there's many ways you can go about it, and Alex, how do you think the best way to actually start coding? Like, if you were to go home right now and start, how do you go about doing that?
Well, if you were thinking about going straight home and diving straight into it, the first thing I'd say is make sure that you know that you have the time to do it. If you feel like you have got the time and you feel like this is something you want to do, the first thing I would do is watch YouTube tutorials on the things you're going to start with, because if you don't see other people do it, you won't know how difficult it is and whether you'll be able to do it or not. So there are loads of channels out there. So if you wanted to start plugin development, there are channels like the BC Bros, Pogo629Dev. There's loads of channels and they'll all talk you through how to make plugins, the basics and all of that. So if you were going to go home and do it, I would recommend that you look into it before you even start just digging straight in.
So what I'd say if you start coding, one of the things, like Alex said, make sure you have the time. It can be very time consuming because it's a fun thing to do, and it can kind of become a bit of an addiction in the end. So I'd make sure your studies definitely come first if you're that age. But if you were to start, I'd definitely recommend, as Alex said, YouTube tutorials. I think are one of the best ways to learn. But as the same way, I would definitely try and experiment with the tools that you've got. So if you watch a YouTube video and learn how to do something, try and take it a bit further, or try and do something else with it. Because that way you'll learn by doing things wrong, and that's the best way you can learn. If you do everything right the first time, then you haven't really learned anything. However, if you do something wrong and spend the time to fix it, then you're going to learn a lot more by doing that.
So my main advice would be, you can think big, but always start small. So when I started out, I wanted to make a space mod, but I thought, well, that's far too complicated. I can't just start making that. So I thought, what's a good thing to start with? I thought a flying vehicle would be a good start towards getting some stuff into space. So I made the plane. But even with that, I split that down into smaller and smaller chunks. So I just started out making a biplane ring, just an item, and then I gave it an icon, I gave it a recipe and a name, and I sort of did little things one at a time. Because getting something in the game is the best bit when you're just starting out, seeing that you can actually do things, and then once you've got that, it's easier to work on making better things, bigger things. So start small, break it down, but it's okay to think big so long as you don't do it all at once.
Okay, so everybody here has been talking about the going on YouTube to get started. For me, I find it a lot easier to have a text, like a wiki document open that would just help me go through it. It just depends really what's best for you. Some people will find the videos really useful because you can pause it, rewind it, whatever. But I just prefer to be going through a wiki, going step by step. So you just got to pick which side you like. If you do want to be going and finding, a wiki to help you, there's also like great communities out there which will give you any advice you want. If you just go on, there's the Minecraft forum, there are Spigot forums. There's a new Sponge forum. You can just go on there, ask any questions, don't be afraid, and literally anyone will help you. Just give it a bit of time, and they'll give you a response.
Awesome. So now what I'm going to ask is, what is your favourite thing about coding or coding in Minecraft? Alright, I'm going to start on this side and then go to your side.
So one of my favourite things is getting results. Say you think, I want to make this today, I want to make a car today, and I go and I code it, and a couple of hours or a couple of days, depending on how big the thing is, I come out at the end and I have a thing that is what I wanted to make. It's the satisfaction of thinking, I want to make this, I wish this was in Minecraft, and then you make it, and then it's in Minecraft, and you can play with it, and you can share with your friends as well. That's really exciting. So it's thinking, you can make anything you want. That's what's really so great about it.
Yeah, I think everybody here would agree that getting something out there and getting something that people can see is always the best. So once you've made something, always give it to a friend or put it on the forum or just put it somewhere so someone can give you feedback, whether it's good or bad. The good feedback will just be amazing. It will make you want to do more and more and more. Even the bad feedback, people will normally give you advice. There will be some people who just say, nothing, just ignore them. But there will be loads of people on there, especially if you just post it to Minecraft forum, who would just say, this is great, you could do more, you could try doing this, try doing that, try experimenting, try pushing it further. And you should always try and do that, and that will strive to make you do more and make you make better things.
I think that what was mentioned earlier about getting results was sort of similar to what I think, but by results I mean that I like to make something and then invite people to play it and then tell me what they liked and didn't like about it. So I will make something like survival games, open a server, invite everybody to play it, and then I will find things that I don't like myself, but on top of that I will find things that people either don't like or they found that didn't work. And the feedback, I think, is the best part for me, because then I realise that, right, people might not like this. If I change it to this, they might like it a bit more, and that's what really makes me feel good about what I'm doing.
So one of the things that I find most enjoyable when I'm coding is working with other people, because as well, coding might seem as quite an isolated thing, where you do it alone in your bedroom. It's really not like that, because if you're going to work on anything large, you cannot produce it by yourself. You have to work with other people. So you can work sort of in a team where you all work on little things. But if you have meetings where you sit down and you discuss ideas, bounce them off each other, and then produce better ideas, when the end product is produced, it's much better than it would be if you produced it by yourself. And it's also really enjoyable to work with the friends and like become friends with them and get to know them. And then you can come to events like Insomnia where we all meet up and we can talk to each other about what we do, and it's really enjoyable. And the other thing I really like is when you're working on something and you get it to a point where you can't really go any further with it, and because you've come across a bug that you've had in your code and you can't fix it with your current knowledge. So then you've got to do some research. You've got to look on the internet and find how other people have done it, maybe look at some guides, how it's meant to be done, and revise your technique. And once you get it to the point where you fix that bug, the satisfaction is unbelievable, because not only have you learned loads of new things to do with it, you've now got something that works, that you've actually worked to accomplish.
Great stuff there. So now what we're going to talk about is there's a lot of weird and wonderful things out in Minecraft, and we're going to talk about some of the craziest things that we've seen people code. As in, a little while back, about a year and a half ago, I made a plugin, and pretty much what happens is that there was a cow that if you walked up to, we had like a resource pack with it, and if you were to attack it, it would scream at you. Like it'd actually scream at you, and then if you would then attack it, it'd turn into a creeper, explode into more creepers, and then by the end of it, there's just bedrock everywhere, and thousands of creepers. So something like that is actually really easy to do if you're a plugin developer. For example, one example I have is a sword that should you attack anything with it, that it would hit them with lightning. As in, that is about 4 or 5 lines of code. Really simple stuff, and I can guarantee if you were to spend 2-3 hours, you would be able to make that very easily. So I'm going to go around again and see what everyone else's experiences of either something crazy they've coded or something they've seen which is particularly interesting. Okay, I'm going to start on this side now.
Okay, so I've got two things. I'm going to tell you something that I coded that I thought was crazy, and then something that I've seen coded which I thought was even crazier. So when I first started coding, I made 1 or 2 plugins, and then I started to experiment with mobs. And the craziest thing that I've ever made to date is you walked into a house, and like Struan said, there was a cow, but mine didn't scream at you. Mine just shot fireworks at you completely, and it was making random noises everywhere. And in the end, you would end up riding the cow, and there was no physical way off the cow. And I don't know why I made it, I will admit, but that was just me testing around with what Minecraft could do, and I thought it was great because it was one of the craziest things I've done. The craziest thing I've ever seen was I was playing survival games one day, and they were doing like the quarter quotes. So if you've ever seen the Hunger Games movies, every section has a different event, and they split the world into sections, and they were having a different thing happen in each section, and I thought that was crazy. I've never seen that done. To this day, I still don't know how they've done it. I have tried, but I don't have an idea. But yeah, I think that's the craziest thing that I personally have ever seen.
In terms of what I think is the crazy or the best thing I've ever seen done, and at the same time as one of the things that I see as a bonus for coding, is that whatever passion you have will make you into a different developer to somebody else. So for example, one of my passions is music. So about 2 years ago, when the first plugin came out that could convert a music track into something called a MIDI file, which is basically a stripped down music track, and then convert that into Minecraft and play it for the jukeboxes that had the correct note and play the song in Minecraft, I thought was absolutely incredible, because that was my passion, and then I feel that I needed to do something with that. So I've made a lot of stuff to do with that, including music things on the web and in Minecraft, which I feel really helped me to progress on because I was passionate about the ideas.
Some of my favourite mods come from a guy called Ichun. He made the Portal mod, Gravity Gun mod, and things like the Nyan Cat mod, which makes a Nyan Cat, which makes a trail behind it, so a rainbow trail. What he's done is he's made a game called Antechamber, where you can sort of go down a corridor, turn around 6 times, and then you come out somewhere different. It's sort of space doesn't really make sense anymore. You go around the corner and you're somewhere completely different. Like, you could build the TARDIS with this one, and I just think that's absolutely amazing. Like, technically, in terms of how he's coded it, and it's just really, really exciting thing to play with.
The weirdest things I find normally on Minecraft forums are the best ones. I always just go on there and just browse the newest mods and the newest things that people have made. Because normally it is people who are either just starting or just getting into it, and you do occasionally find people who been working on something for years. But the new ones and the ones that really have inspiration behind them, just the wacky ones, are always the best. Trying to think of some examples, but just anything new, anything random is always great.
Alrighty, so now, guys, what piece of advice would you give to those who are just about to start, thinking about starting, or have just started coding? What advice would you give?
I would say look around, like, get other people to help you. Look around on YouTube and forums and things. Look for tutorials and things. And then if you're stuck with the tutorials or you just can't figure out what to do, then you should ask on a forum, make a post, and somebody will get back to you probably. And they'll tell you where you're going wrong, and they'll help you. And yeah, that's probably what I'd say. That's the best way to get started. Ask people when you're stuck.
One thing that really helped me is when I started off, I started completely solo, and for me that was fine to get into it. It took a little bit longer for me because I kept getting up with excuses and saying, I'm going to do it this weekend, or I'll do it after next week, or after this film comes out, or whatever. Just get started. Just make something, anything. Just Google how to get started making a mod, and you find a tutorial, do the tutorial, and take it further. And then find a friend. Find somebody else who is either equally passionate as you, who you know personally, or just on a forum, go and ask around, see somebody else who's starting, and work together. Bounce ideas of each other, give each other projects, and get each other learning how to code. And you'll get really nice results really quickly, and just become a better coder.
Like has already been said, teamwork is the key. So if you don't know how to do something, or you want to learn to do something, getting someone to help you is always a great thing, because then you can see how other people have started and how they do it, and that's probably the best way to do it, because then you see other people's techniques. Yeah, working as a team really does help in the long run, because then you make friends while you're doing it. So if you ever need help in the future, you've always got somebody there who's helped you before that will gladly help you again. So teamwork is really important.
So, like the other people have said, one of the core things when you're starting is to just get started. Don't put it off or think it's too difficult. Anyone can code, no matter the person, the situation. Anyone can do it, and it shouldn't be affected by anything. Kids of all ages, it doesn't matter. Just get started and get your teeth into it. And in terms of actually what you're going to code to start off with, as was said, don't aim too hard. But build something in which you feel that it's going to help you learn, but also might help you in the long run, so something you might use in the future. And usually the way you get to that sort of situation is by doing something that is absolutely crazy, something that nobody else has seen before. It's an idea that came into your head. Don't have the sort of thought that I probably shouldn't do this because it's like nobody else has done it. It probably won't work. If you don't do it, you'll never know if it will work. So definitely just try mad things, because usually the best things come out of an idea.
Okay, and now I have one final question before we go to the Q&A, and that is, what tools do you think really help you when you're coding?
So when I started out coding, I was using Notepad, like Windows Notepad, and it works, but it's not very good. About 2 weeks after I started, somebody showed me Eclipse, which is an IDE, Integrated Development Environment. It's basically a tool to help you write Java. It's like a text editor, but it's got so much more packed into it. One of my favorite features of it is that it colors in all your code. So variables are a different color to all everything's are different colors, and so you can tell very quickly what's what. You can tell what's code, what's not, it just makes it much easier to work out what you're doing.
Yeah. For me, like, I use an ID called Eclipse. I think all of us use Eclipse, apart from Stuart. But it doesn't really matter which one you pick. You'll find support for pretty much any ID out there on the internet if you just search for it. Just find a tutorial, follow it through, and just follow the steps that they give you. If you think there's something in the tutorial that, hey, I'm going to test something else, and maybe it might break everything, maybe it might do something awesome, give it a go. It doesn't matter. If it doesn't work, just undo it, try something else. Just keep, bashing in random stuff, and you'll get some nice results. As I said in the IDE, you do get a lot of help, even just from the IDE itself. As you're coding, if you do make mistakes, you'll be told that, this doesn't look quite right, or are you sure you need to type this and not this, or that kind of thing. That really helps you along. And there's also autocomplete, which a lot of people don't remember to use when they get started. Remember to autocomplete everything. It makes your life so much easier because you barely need to remember anything. You can just get something coded in 5-10 minutes and it will just work.
Something I find really helpful are libraries. So these are things that people have created, coded, tested, and then they feel like they will help other people. So on forums there'll be a section for Bookit or plugin development or whatever it is, and there'll be a section for resources and libraries. These are amazing. You can find people that have made particle effects, so you will import it, and then you will write something simple like create particle effects, and then in speech marks just write what you want it to say, and then in the plugin it will create particles that say that. And there are so many libraries out there that will help anybody if they need it. It's unreal. And you can create your own library. So say when you started out coding, if you learn how to do something and you know you'll need it at a later date, you can save it as a library and then bring it back when you need it. So libraries are a really great tool, and they work in any program, any IDE. They really are a great tool to use when coding.
So one of the things that's been mentioned a lot is working in teams. And the main way that pretty much every single computer science company in the world uses is a program called Git. And Git is a way that you can collaborate with your code to make sure that you're all working on something at the same time and together. That's the core, because it's quite difficult to work on something. It's one person in England and one's in America, because you're not sat right next to each other. Git allows you to communicate with each other and collaborate on your code. And the other main thing that we use in the Nox tool, and it makes it seem a bit bizarre, is the Google Drive apps. The Google Drive apps are absolutely fantastic for all collaboration, because if you're going to work on something large, it needs planning. Never start something without planning. If it's small, then yeah, that's fine. But if you're going to work on a big project, make sure you have exactly set out what you want to do and the things you want to accomplish. And working on the Google Drive apps, for example, they have collaboration documents, so as somebody's writing something, somebody else writes it as well, and you can see exactly what's happening. And also the drawings, you can put the drawings together to use how you want things to look, and that's helped us increase our productivity absolutely tenfold. It really helps to plan.
Awesome, well thank you very much guys. Now we're going to have a FAQ session now. Okay. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Go on, you're at the front. Sorry, could you come a little bit closer to the microphone?
Okay, when I tried to download the modern front side thing, I downloaded the plans the main thing, but the guns don't get put into my creative inventory.
Have you downloaded any content packs? So my mod uses a content pack, so you have to download content packs as well.
Yeah, I've got the modern simple mods, simple mods.
That won't add any guns. that will only add bits to make vehicles with.
I know what the guns as well.
Okay. The best thing to do if you have a problem is send a message to my Facebook page, or send a my website. There's a link right at the very bottom saying what my email address is, so you can send a question to me, and I will look into it. And because it's a bit hard to webcam here, so yes, give me more information, and I'll send that information. Okay.
And can I have all of your autographs?
We'll be doing stuff like that afterwards. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Yes, you sir, at the front.
When you're making a mod, do you have to recode every single block of the game to make it compatible with the other blocks in the mod?
No. Well, when you're making a mod, it depends which part you take. If you take I'll start with MPP. MPP basically, when you run it, it will decompile Minecraft and give you put in the Minecraft file, the jar file, and it will give you out all the source code with everything there is. So you can just literally recompile it, or you can edit it and recompile it. So when you're making a block, you just literally either add your own or tweak the ones that are there, and they all work together perfectly.
And also, can I have your autographs too?
We'll do that at the end for everyone, so don't worry about it. Okay, any more questions? Yes, you. Speak close to the mic, please. Thank you.
Would you be able to code your own Minecraft server?
Well, I'm afraid that a lot of us are very busy with the work we do, but if you were to go onto the Sphere forums or the Forge forums, there are often people who are very willing to take on little projects, because when you're starting off coding, you're looking for lots of little things to do, and a lot of people would be happy to do that for you. So, are you thinking of getting a mod or a plugin?
A mod.
A mod. Well, if you look for the Forge mod website, you might be able to find someone on there. So what you can do is you can make a post, and then if anyone's interested, they'll help you out on that. Okay? Yep. Is making a server anything to do with coding? Okay. Well, when you make a server, it's not really coding, and you can start off with the simple normal server, which is called vanilla, and this means that you have no plugins, and it's just a normal server like you would play on Survival Player. Now, all you've got to do for that is go to the Minecraft website, go to download, and there's a jar, it's like highlighted in blue, which is Minecraft server.jar. You can just download that and open it. You'll have a normal Minecraft server you can play on. If you wanted to have a server with plugins on, you'd have to start looking at things like Bucket and Spigot, which would allow you to have plugins. Now, pretty much every hosting company in the world will do this for you, so you can either set it up at home, or you can buy one from a hosting company, and then set your server up. But to answer your question, no, you don't need to code to set up a Minecraft server. Anything else? Hello, anyone else? You in the bright yellow t-shirt.
How do you install a mod?
So to install a mod, you'll need to start up with Minecraft, then download Minecraft Forge. It should be quite self-explanatory on their website. I mean, just Google Minecraft Forge on the website. Yeah, there are tutorials on how to install it. But once you've got Forge installed, you then download the mod and you put it in the mods folder in your Minecraft folder. So there'll be a tutorial on the Forge site as well. You can, somewhere in the Minecraft launcher, you can click open Minecraft folder, and then it's just like you drag and drop the mod into the folder. It will just load up every mod in that folder. So it's pretty simple. Anybody else? Yes? You right there?
Forge on?
Minecraft Forge.net, I think. I mean, you just Google it and it should come up as like one of the top 3, probably. Yeah, it should be pretty simple.
Anybody else? Yes, you all the way at the back.
What would be the best way to, what would be the best application to use to make mini games?
So to make mini games, it's basically making a plugin for a server. Generally, you can do a mod, but probably easier to make a plugin. So you use something called an IDE to write the code. An IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and that is basically a program to download. And it's like a text editor, like Microsoft Word or Notepad, and you basically write all the code in there, and it will help you to write a mod. If you look up on the internet, how do I code a Minecraft plugin, it'll give you like a tutorial on how to install these applications and then how to code it and then how to use it on your server. And then if you look at how to make a mini game, there's also tutorials for that you can look up. That is basically extensions of the tutorial to watch to learn how to make.
I would try back into the last question from the guy in the hoodie. If you meant the Forge source, it's slightly different. So, like, if you want to mod, you go to the download page for Forge, but you download, there's a different button for the source, and you download that, and there's, you have to find a tutorial on the Forge forums to set that up, but it should be fairly similar to just downloading the client.
Okay, so the last 2 questions. Yes, you on the side. You've been very patient.
What's the difference between a plugin and a mod?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
What's the difference between a plugin and a mod?
Okay, so who would like to answer that?
So a plugin is something where it's on your server, so nobody has to download anything when they log in. It's on the server and everybody can play it. A mod is something different. A mod is something that has to be on the player's computer and on the server. So a mod can do all sorts of things to Minecraft, where a plugin can do things in Minecraft. Yeah?
So it's basically command blocks without the command blocks. It's basically commands without like the command blocks.
Sort of. Command blocks will run commands that exist, whereas plugins can create commands, and yeah, it's like the mods, but they can do so much more. So yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, so this is our final question. Okay, you're over there in the corner, and if anyone else has any more questions, then come find us after the panel. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. We'll just be over there in the corner, so if you want to catch any of us, you can find us there.
How did you handle monetization?
For Minecraft Pocket Edition. Did you say Minecraft Pocket Edition? I'm afraid that at the moment I don't think you're able to do that at the moment. Actually,
Well, yeah, the Pocket Edition doesn't have any server or client mods. It's being developed by a separate section in Mojang. However, there are some groups, I can't remember off the top of my head, there are some groups that are working on making developer APIs that will let you make mods for the Pocket Edition. So we can look forward to that later in the year, probably.
now, thank you very much everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.